Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Adkup Show. So, we know Donald Trump has slapped Mexico and Canada with 25% tariffs. However, he has halted the tariffs for 1 month as both countries negotiated. Basically, the real reason behind these tariffs have less to do with economics and more to do with controlling illegal immigration and drugs. Both Mexico and Canada has decided to implement strict measures to control illegal immigration and drugs, especially fentanyl. But the question is, can Mexico and Canada really combat illegal immigration and drugs? Do they really have the capacity and capability to do it? Well, illegal immigration can be handled. However, when it comes to narcotics, it becomes very complicated. The main player is not Canada, but Mexico. So the question is, can Mexico put a full stop to its drugs problem? Okay, let's get straight into it. Mexico is a beautiful country, but it's battling with drug cartels. But how big is this narco economy? And what does it mean for Mexico and even for America? Let's break it down. First off, the numbers. If you think this is just about drugs, think again. We are talking about an economy where the drug cartels are raking in anywhere from $30 billion to $50 billion a year. Yes, you heard that right. Billions. The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime suggests that drug trafficking alone could account for up to 40 billion annually. But that's just a tip of the iceberg. Fentanyl has become a game changer. It's super potent, cheap to produce in Mexico, and insanely profitable when sold in the U.S. markets. This drug has skyrocketed the cartel's income, making them even more formidable. According to data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, between 2016 and 2020, that is Trump's first tenure, annual drug overdose deaths from synthetic opioids increased by 192% from approximately 19,500 to 56,894. That's really a big jump. Between 2019 and 2020, the last year of Trump's presidency, there was a 55% increase in drug overdose deaths from synthetic opioids. We can conclude that during his first tenure, the drug consumption in America actually increased. These cartels aren't just selling drugs, they're involved in human trafficking, extortion, kidnapping, and even oil theft. They got their own powerful militias with advanced weapons, and in many cases, they are better than Mexican military. These overall activities make up what we call the narco economy. It's estimated that this could represent 5 to 7% of Mexico's GDP. But let's be real, these numbers are conservative. The ripple effects are massive. So it won't be wrong to say that there is a parallel economy running in Mexico and even in other countries in Latin America, which makes money by killing Americans. Mexico is growing, but the country does have huge unemployment and poverty problems. In regions where jobs are scarce as water in a desert, guess who's hiring? The cartels. They're one of the largest employers in Mexico, giving jobs to an estimated 160,000 to 185,000 people. It's a dark twist on the American dream. Instead of building businesses, you're building empires of crime. Now, if Donald Trump is thinking that he can counter this by putting tariffs and sanctions, then he's absolutely wrong. Tariffs will hurt Mexico's economy, and this will result in more crimes, more poverty, more drugs, more illegal immigrants, because tariffs will make people more desperate. Now let's talk about social and economic costs. Violence in Mexico due to drug-related activities cost the country around 4.6 trillion pesos, or about $230 billion in 2022. That's 18.3% of the GDP. We are not just talking about lost lives here. This includes healthcare for victims, reduced productivity, and over-expensive cost of security measures. Now, Mexico's defense budget for 2025 has seen a significant reduction. According to news reports, Mexico has decided to cut its military budget by approximately 41%, setting the budget for Ministry of National Defense at around $7.6 billion, down from $12.97 billion in 2024. The Navy's budget is also reduced, dropping to $3.29 billion. So will there be any negative impact of this? Well, the answer is yes. Of course, there will be a negative impact. The cartels will feel empowered because with reduction in military budget means less resource available at disposal to counter these cartels. So the real question is, can Mexican military defeat the cartels? On paper, yes. With around 277,000 active personnel, they have manpower and equipment. But in practice, it's a totally different story. Corruption within the military, the cartels' deep local roots, and their ability to adapt make this a marathon, not a sprint. These cartels are not just involved in narcotics, but they are also involved in controlling inflation and prices. Cartels control commodities like limes and avocados, leading to what's known as narco inflation. They decide the price, and it hits your wallet hard. This means they indirectly control the value of Mexican peso. Now, imagine if they engineer inflation and force illegal migration as a tool for negotiation. Yeah, it's very much a possible scenario, and in this case, Trump administration has no clue about what to do. Tariffs gets neutralized in this case. Mexican government will be weakened and these cartels will become more strong and influential. And on top of all this, there's corruption. Corruption is eating away Mexico's governance. The drug money fuels corruption in government, police, and judicial systems, making it a vicious cycle. And if anybody tries to change the status quo, they're violently crushed. Take last year's election as an example, where from September to May 2024, 34 candidate or aspiring candidates were assassinated, with most killings linked to drug cartels who were seeking to influence local election. And guess what? They did influence the elections. Apart from the economic implication, the human toll is also devastating. Families torn apart, communities shattered, and a national psyche under constant stress. Now let's connect all this to the US. Mexico's narco economy is closely tied to US drug market. The demand for drugs like drive this economy. When you think about it, the US isn't just a neighbor, it's a partner in this dark dance. The billions made from drugs don't stay in Mexico. They are laundered through US through banks, real estate, luxury goods, you name it. This isn't just affecting Mexico, it's impacting the global economy. Money laundering is used for whitewashing the black money, and many big players are involved in this. Many businesses in America, Europe, and in Asia don't want this narco economy to close as they get their fair share. This entire web is deep and dark, and in order to counter this, you need more than just tariffs. Trump administration will have to crack down first on all the industries which are taking money from this narco economy. Now, this is too much, right? Well, it is, and there is no other option. The question is, will Donald Trump do this? And the answer is no. It's very complicated, and if he tries to do, then there's a big possibility of him losing the support, which will ultimately result in not accomplishing the things which were previously possible. Now let's try to dig deeper into this. These tariffs weren't just about trade, they were a political tool. Trump enforcing 25% tariff on Mexican goods if Mexico didn't curb drug trafficking and immigration. This is clearly a double-edged sword. On one hand, it puts economic pressure on Mexico to act, which it can't because it doesn't have enough capacity and capability, as we discussed earlier in this video. On the other hand, it complicates the U.S. Mexico relations, potentially affecting cooperation on drug enforcement. Weakening Mexico's economy will result in people further moving towards narco economy. It's like squeezing a balloon. A pressure just makes the problem pop up elsewhere. Globally, the narco economy isn't confined to Mexico. It's a transnational issue. Money laundering on trafficking from the US to Mexico and supply of precursor chemicals from China for drugs like fentanyl. It's all interconnected. So until now, I haven't discussed about China's role in this, but China plays a very important role. Not just Mexican cartels, but cartels from different countries like Colombia, Brazil, Honduras have major backing of China. China uses them as a proxy against the US. Mexico's cartels have evolved. They are no longer just about moving drugs. They are into everything from tech to terror. They use drones for surveillance, encrypted communications for secrecy, and social media for propaganda or recruitment. This isn't your grandfather's drug war. This is modern tech-savvy crime operation. So what's the way forward? It's not just about more guns or higher walls. Addressing the Narco economy means tackling poverty, improving education, creating jobs, and fighting corruption from the ground up. It's about international cooperation, not just confrontation. And yes, it means looking at how policies like tariffs can have ripple effects far beyond what they intended. The US has to play its part by controlling the flow of arms into Mexico and addressing the demand for drugs within its borders. It's a shared responsibility, not just Mexico's burden to bear. Donald Trump is assuming that tariffs are enough, but in reality, these cartels are laughing. Their influence, revenues, market share, and ability to fight is increasing every year. This isn't just a story of crime, it's a narrative of resilience, of communities fighting back, of a country striving for change against all odds. As we have seen, the narco economy is vast, but understanding it is the first step towards dismantling it. So in conclusion, tariffs are useless when it comes to countering drug cartels, who are also involved in human trafficking. In fact, America should empower Mexican government and economy so that they can take action against these cartels. If you found this video insightful, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into global issues, and share this video with someone who needs to see a bigger picture. Let me know your thoughts in comments. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay inspired, stay informed. Peace out.